And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller here in the Treasure Valley. Those of you listening on the Radio Pup app, we appreciate you listening of all points in between. And look, the nation needs good, great talk radio. So we like that you're tuning into us here in the state of Idaho. A few things going on, of course, this big merger. And you're going to say to yourself, well, Kevin, really, what does this merger mean? You just heard about it moments ago, where you had this, 20th Century Fox selling its assets to Walt Disney. And what we're seeing in media and what we're seeing everywhere else is this issue involving, fragmentation on television, fragmentation in media. Everybody's going online, everybody's going to their app, everybody's going to this and that. And what we're going to see with this merger, by the way, if you're just tuning in, you missed it. Disney is trying to buy 20th Century Fox for like $50 billion. Now, the cool thing about this is it doesn't include Fox News. The Murdochs, thankfully, will keep Fox News. The Murdochs will keep Fox News. Because let's face it, if the social justice jabronis, the slappies, whatever you want to call them, at Walt Disney got their hands on the beloved Big Fox, well, we'd have some issues now, wouldn't we? Thankfully, that's not going to happen, right? But it does mean that, Star Wars and Marvel Comics are about ready, and Mickey Mouse are about ready to get even bigger. And the cable bills, those of you that can afford the cable, that can afford the DirecTV. Hello to everybody working at DirecTV. Ha, 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 ha. Hello. Thank you for the wonderful service. Great to have one of the best customer service centers here in the Treasure Valley and Meridian for DirecTV. But, costs will go up at an age when things are contracting and the like. That's how it impacts us. For me, have you ever noted a big company that is worthwhile? Do you ever know of a big, as I like to call them, godless corporation that really cares? Now, there are some in the nonprofit communities, yes. There are some. There are others that, do their very best. But really, the bigger someone gets, I think the more they get away from what made them special, whether it's a business, whether it's anything else, right? At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Just a thought when we're taking a look at that. Is bigger better? I don't think so. So we'll talk a little bit about that. At KIDOTalkRadio.com right now on the big lead is a story that I did, why Donald Trump is better off that Roy Moore lost. And you're going to say to yourself, well, Kevin Miller, you supported Roy Moore. I did. And we had on our friend Dale Jackson from WVNN in Huntsville. We could have done all Alabama all the time, but we live in Idaho. And the thing that got me with this at 580-5436, 580-KIDO is the president's conversation yesterday. The president really was talking about this historic tax reform and just how happy he seemed, and the press didn't have ammunition to beat him over the head with. Let's take a listen.
This bill is vital to the American people for many reasons. First of all, it's going to have a tax cut, the likes of which we haven't seen for not only business, but for the working families of our country.
Right, and the president went on and talking about taking care of working families. Now, again, you're going to have the libs, the ill-informed, the people that, just want to go out and have fun, saying dumb things about this. But on the other hand, the president was focused. The president was down with it. Let's listen.
It will be bigger than anything ever done in this country, bigger than the Reagan cuts, bigger than any cuts.
So there we have it. Your thoughts on that at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. When you're looking at these tax cuts, it's going to be a very big deal. In addition to that, the Assistant Attorney General Rosenstein was on Capitol Hill. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, let's get the tax bill. Let's figure it out. Disney is getting bigger. Hopefully, we'll be getting more money back.
Top congressional Republicans are expected to release a compromise tax reform package on Friday ahead of votes next week. Differences in the bills that passed the House and Senate had to be ironed out. Oregon Democrat Senator Ron Wyden criticized
Thank you, Mr.
the
Chairman.
process.
Yeah, thank you.
It did not have to be this way, and it is not too late for bold members on either side to reject this reckless partisan process.
Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn says Democrats should have gotten serious about tax reform a long time ago.
They complain about this process, saying they haven't been able to participate when they have voluntarily chosen not to participate in the process.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
As a candidate, I promised we would pass a massive tax cut for the everyday working American families who are the backbone and the heartbeat of our country. Now we're just days away. I hope. You know what that means, right? From keeping that promise and delivering a truly amazing victory for American families. We want to give you, the American people, a giant tax cut for Christmas.
And there we have it, a giant tax cut for Christmas. And according to the president, people will be hearing about this and feeling its effects by February. When's the last time we had something holly and jolly for Christmas from the government? And then we have this issue involving Donald Trump and Roy Moore. Now, Judge Moore says he's not going to concede. He's going to continue on. Do you believe this is a good thing? Military ballots need to be counted. I totally understand that. Look, 20,000 votes, that's a big deal in a state of, 4 million, 5 million, something like that. But this allows Trump, much to the chagrin of the libs, to actually move on. This allows Trump to focus on taxes. Did you hear how focused he sounded? Did you see how focused and ready to go? And he was talking to a greater crowd. This wasn't the Donald Trump on Twitter. This wasn't the Donald Trump smacking the fake news. Heck, he even said, I'm not even going to call you all fake news today. This is a Donald Trump that, be careful for what you wish for, because you might get it. We're talking infrastructure. We're talking reform of the tax code. Actually, we're talking issues. Amazing.
No longer is this about Republican or Democrat control. It has truly been said there's not a dime's worth of difference between them. It's about a Washington establishment which will not listen to the cries of its citizenry.
That is Judge Roy Moore saying that he's going to continue to fight.
In this race, we have not received the final count to include military and provisional ballots. This has been a very close race, and we are awaiting certification by the Secretary of State.
And there we have it. So 2 comments, and for your listening pleasure, we'll open up with a third here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Your thoughts on the tax code. You're going to go, well, Kevin, what am I going to say? Hey, I want to pay more in taxes? No. So, what do we talk about that? I think, again, Judge Moore not winning, Judge Moore moving on is a good thing for the president, is a great thing for the president. And since we're talking of taxes, if you go to, say it with me, folks, 1, 2, 3, KIDOTalkRadio.com, you will see the city of Boise once again looking to, how should we put this? Stick it to you. Change is coming to downtown Boise. For the first time ever, the city of Boise will begin charging people to park in metered spaces on Saturday. How about that? Beginning 10 a.m. February 1st, cars can stay in metered spots for up to 2 hours. Saturday parking will cost 50 cents for the first hour and $1 for the second hour. It was a contentious city count. I don't know if it was contentious. It just sounds good this early in the morning. But it was a split, and the mayor, shocking, Mayor Beater voted for more taxes to split the vote to allow the additional revenue to trickle in. When the city of Boise, and I think that, when people say, well, you live in Boise, no, I don't live in Boise. I live in the Treasure Valley, because the Treasure Valley is much more than the city of Boise. Boise's a nice place, and they used to have a plaque where civilization started, but being politically correct, they got rid of that. I guess they're going to put it in a warehouse. Maybe they've got some old Confederate monuments and such that they're taking down as well, or they're going to ship it off to some museum or something like that. Because the city of Boise is uber political correct. You want to get along in the city of Boise? Go to ribbon cuttings. Go to ribbon cuttings and continue to tax the constituents. And you look at the growth in Meridian, you look at the growth in just every part of Ada County, Canyon County, and you see that eventually the city of Boise, with its legacy costs and its onerous taxes, is in trouble. Still a great place to live. And you have that idea that you live in Boise, this is Boise, that sort of thing. But, if you want to live in Boise, you're going to have to pay more in taxes, pay more for schools, pay more for roads. By the way, isn't it lovely what we see downtown? It rivals what's going on in Caldwell as far as the downtown, road construction and such. Well, we need to build more roads. How about build more highways for people that travel in and out? But big business needs it. My point being, I think it's ridiculous that if you're going to go to the farmer's market, if you're going to go downtown, and especially for the downtown business folks, that you have to, pay for parking. And look, I've lived in big cities, and those of you that have visited big cities, been to big cities, it's very rare that you have to charge people for weekend parking unless you need the money. And again, when you want to buy more land, which the city does for, I think they do it for parks, or I don't know what they're buying the land for. The city seems to be in the real estate business. You take a look at the direction of the place, and yes, if you like paying more taxes, and unfortunately, I don't know if the, little Portland that Boise has become is ever going to recover from that. I mean, you have a mayor that likes to pay taxes and be politically correct and be a welcoming city and put his nose in national issues that have nothing to do with Boise, Idaho. And he has his group of acolytes and supporters that run things. And if you want to get along, you better be nice to Dave. Dave does a lot of nice things. Dave's a great guy. If you pay your taxes. I think it's ridiculous, though, to pay for parking on Saturdays. I think it's ridiculous that you have to pay for parking at all. If you're a restaurant downtown, and there are some great restaurants, great hotels, but for me, I'm about convenience. I'm about the current coffee. I'm about, having it made for me. I'm about, getting in and out. I'm about going to a place where they have a parking lot, and you don't have to pay for it. So you're going to have people that are going to continue to go to Meridian, continue to go to Nampa, continue to go to Caldwell, to Kuna, to Mountain Home, and find their own little enclaves. And Boise's so big right now, with its continuing to be the welcoming city, that perhaps they can get away with it. But on the other hand, I just think it's ridiculous that they're going to continue to pay, or you're going to have to pay to park. And then you take a look at, the Uber situation, the taxi situation, the homeless situation that doesn't get reported. Look, we've had people tell us that the quickest way for someone working for the city of Boise to lose their job is to talk about the homeless situation down at the skate park, or the needles and the syringes. And look, I'm not trying to beat up on the city of Boise. It's a great place. But why don't we focus in on solving real solutions instead of sticking it to people that might want to come in from yonder 10 Mile in Meridian, or from Caldwell, or Ontario, or Kuna, and, take part in the wonderful downtown. And you're going to say, Kevin Miller, 50 cents is no big deal. It is to some people. It is to some people. And not everybody has the new Fords that do the parallel parking for you. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. Come on, sleepyheads. Time to wake up and start the day. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here. So we either can stick with this topic or continue on. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And, I was, again, thinking about a couple of other things. We did our poll, and I think we're up to 39 votes. That's right, 39 votes for the company Christmas party. And we'd have to do that next week, just for scheduling purposes. And then I thought to myself, is it fair for everyone to sit back and say, well, Kevin Miller, if you have so many votes, blah, 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 is it really about getting votes on an online poll? Well, really, it is to a degree. Actually, we're still at 39 votes. Shocker. On the other hand, 2 years ago, we had our last company Christmas party, and it was great. And then last year, we were so exhausted that we didn't have one because we had just an incredible run with debate watch parties. By the way, if you're new to the program, usually once a year we have everybody in. So I believe we will do that next week. I'm going to check with a few people, so stay tuned, and everybody's invited. You've got to RSVP, but I think we're going to do that. It would be great to see everybody before the Christmas season. Let's go to the phones at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And we'll start with Cindy. Good morning, Cindy.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I had a great time yesterday, believe it or not, off of Exit 2 down in Boise. And you made a comment about our president, which I really do respect. I don't think, since he was the only one out there with trying to just kind of get people to see the long-range vision with Judge Moore, and I also thank you for that. I also am with Judge Moore in, respectfully waiting for our military vote and seeing what happens. But, I had a great time yesterday. Our president is so able to do that. I think he can multitask very well. Media has continually driven the narrative. I had a great time listening to your talk show people last night, on the radio. But I also had a great time talking to many Idahoans yesterday at Raul Labrador's office, because they had very concrete questions which helped me move on from Judge Moore about what are the issues that Idahoans, are concerned with, and I mean, believe it or not, I just so respect Raul, because he'll come right out there and say, are you concerned about pro-life? Are you concerned about, public lands? Are you concerned about Second Amendment? What, as a governor, can I do to bring your concerns forward? So I think that's also the ability our president has to be able to, he did what he felt he could do. His candidate didn't get in, but this was the candidate, and people came behind him in Alabama, and he can move on. So like you, I can get stuck in my emotion and passion, and I respect that you can already on the radio this morning, move on.
I just heard a different president.
Yeah.
I heard him so focused, and there is no answer. There is no answer to the president when he's on his game.
Exactly. Yes. And I do think all the distractions that the media would like to bring in are distractions. But you know what? I can get unfocused, too. I was listening to your people on your talk show last night about, our intelligence community and what's happening with the FBI and Mueller, and the cards are stacked with the Hillary people there. And then all of a sudden the news comes on your news station, and I'm feeling sick that someone committed suicide and took their life, whether it be because he was accused by a 17-year-old or whatever. But I get distracted, too, and then start.
You're never distracting, Cindy.
No, well, I can be.
Well, so are you voting? Are you voting for the Christmas party?
I sure am, and I'm just saying.
Would you show up? Would you come to Boise for that?
Of course I would. I would definitely do that. A brunch, and you know what? I look at it this way.
Well,
Would some restaurant person be making some money like your Ed's Cafe? They were so nice to me that day with making breakfast. I would love to live some waitress who's up early, a nice Christmas.
I know you're lobbying for Ed's, but it'll probably be here at the broadcast center. Cindy, I got to run, but thank you.
No, you go. Okay, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye. Happy Hanukkah. Oops,
and Happy Hanukkah. We're in the Hanukkah season. We love all holidays here. Okay, let's get rid of this uncomfortable moment. 627, traffic and weather. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Coming up, we'll have the latest from Fox News, repeating our top story. Tax reform looks like it's going to happen. Judge Moore continues to fight. And, oh, yes, the city of Boise is now going to charge you, beginning in February, if you want to park downtown on the weekends. And I guess they call that progress. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good.
A big day on Capitol Hill yesterday. If you missed it, oh, my. Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein testifies before Congress about Russia, the investigation, Mueller, anti-Trump tweets, everything. And as often that happens, not a lot of questions, a lot of statements, including some from our own Congressman Raul Labrador. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, Rachel Sutherland with the very details of an exciting event yesterday in D.C. Good morning, Rachel.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin. This went on for hours. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein there before the House Judiciary Committee. A lot of questions about text messages that were exchanged between a couple of FBI officials who worked on Mueller's probe. One of them, Peter Strzok, was actually removed from the probe over these text messages, which have been released, and they are clearly anti-Trump and pro-Clinton. And Jim Jordan, one Republican on the panel, and also, I believe, Trey Gowdy, they're both calling for a second special counsel to investigate this, the idea of bias within the Mueller probe. Now, Democrats are saying that Republicans are simply trying to turn the tables and change the subject. But this is different than, I'm thinking than something like Uranium One or the Clinton emails, which you get a lot of shoulder shrugs about that. It's in the past. People don't want to dig it up. But when you're talking about something like this, and what Jim Jordan is alleging, and I don't know if he's right, but what he is alleging in open hearing is that the FBI was in cahoots with the Clintons during 2016 to try to make sure that Donald Trump didn't get elected. Now, if that's really true, then that's something that's pretty explosive.
Well, that would be tough to prove, but he wants it all goes to the Russian dossier and the FISA courts, and he got into it with the director of the FBI last week. On this issue.
Yeah, Christopher Wray. They did have an exchange over that.
So he continued on with this line of questioning?
What he is alleging is that the dossier, now we already know that some of the money for the dossier goes back to Democrats, this document. Now, what Jim Jordan is alleging that Peter Strzok, now he doesn't have any proof of this, but Peter Strzok, the same one that was kicked off the Mueller probe, the same one that sent these anti-Trump text messages, is the FBI agent who went to the FISA court, that uber secretive court, to be able to get a warrant associated with this dossier to be able to spy on certain Americans, including the people associated with the Trump campaign. Now, he doesn't have any proof to back that up, right? Right now, it's just he's even saying in open hearing, I'm just speculating about this. But he really believes it now, and he says he believes it even more after these text messages were revealed. So, look, it's a matter of which truth you're going to believe, and it's becoming more and more divided. It's either you believe one storyline or the other, and there's not a whole lot of gray areas there.
You go back to this, though. Rachel, he has said that, the House committee does, in fact, have jurisdiction, so they should be able to see the information. And it's interesting, the reluctance on the FBI not to release what went to a FISA court, because, Rachel, this has been an issue for quite some time. As you know, your colleague at Fox, James Rosen, was investigated by the administration.
That's right, by the Obama administration, was spied upon. And so we know that spying takes place. We know that the FISA court has been utilized, and I can't say whether if it was for nefarious purposes in every case. And again, Jim Jordan doesn't have any proof because of the secretiveness associated with this court that Peter Strzok is the person who did this. Now, what Rosenstein is saying is that let's hold up. The Inspector General is looking into this. He's waiting on the report from the Inspector General before he does anything. So that's how it's playing out. He didn't want to really address whether any wrongdoing was done. Now, the Democratic ranking member, Jerry Nadler, made the point. He said, look, there's nothing in the FBI's rules that say that these two individuals can't have private communications about whatever they want. So there's that aspect of it, too. He's saying they didn't do anything wrong.
Well, that's what he's saying, but ethically, as you know, I mean, you work with all those folks. I mean, ethically, it doesn't look good for those folks if that's, these texting back and forth. I mean, the military,
Right.
you don't have the private. If they're smart, the privates are not sending texts back and forth about how much they hate the colonel.
It's not the truth. Yeah, they don't. Even if they don't like the current president, they don't say anything. And yeah, I'm not trying. I'm just saying what is the opposite point of view here.
Or in our business, we're smart enough not to have anything about the boss in it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You don't want to use the company email to be slamming. But I don't do that. I wouldn't do that. I love my bosses. Why would I do something like that?
We all love our bosses. You're right, Rachel. Rachel, we appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Rachel Sutherland joining us here. Okay, let's get your thoughts at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. By the way, we'll play some of the audio from Congressman Labrador and Congressman Jordan coming up. It's very, very entertaining. And also Representative Dorothy Moon will join us in the next hour. At KIDO Talk Radio, Liberal Steve joins us now. Good morning, sir. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
I just want to put it out there right now that, I'm not going to get in the race for governor because I'm going to back Tommy.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if that's a good thing for Dr. Ahlquist. You're endorsing Tommy Ahlquist?
Yes, and he's LDS. Of course, so is Labrador, but I'm going to leave religion and doctrine out of it this time.
Then why did you mention it?
Because he showed up at your place at Walmart and donated a large amount of money to the homeless. Tommy did. And any governor that gets up from his desk and drives that far and does that and didn't want to be known, wanted it secret, but it got out, is for the people. Got my vote, Kevin. And what's with the king of the Peters coming out like that, talking about Steve Bannon, saying the same thing I did, that he looked like a disheveled drunk? And you got on my case about it. But now you got a Republican congressman that says it to the nation. So did you text him or tweeter him right away and tell him, you can't be saying that stuff?
I look at it.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Well, and 57-year-old Don Johnson down there in Kentucky that popped himself in the public on a bridge. He had to be boozed up beyond all get out to do that. And if it wasn't true, and he said in his statement, he said God knows the truth about the 17-year-old woman he assaulted, allegedly. If God knows the truth, what's he got to worry about? And why would you kill yourself over it? You know why? Because probably 10 or 12 more were going to come out of the woodwork. And he wouldn't be able to handle it. And he took his own life.
Boy, that's a lot of speculation.
He took his own life over it, Kevin. So that where there's smoke, there was a lot of fire coming out.
I don't know what's in somebody's heart.
Well, you should.
I don't.
You claim that you know what's in the libs' hearts as far as voting. And this tax thing.
The libs, hold on. The libs are very easy. Your people, your ilk.
And Cindy would never say whether when I talked to her personally on a phone call back and forth, would never say whether Moore was guilty or not guilty.
By the way, that was very uncomfortable. You were screaming at her.
I'll scream at whoever I want if they want to act like an idiot.
You're just not a nice person today. Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
Actually, I slept in my recliner all night.
That might explain it.
Hooked up my machine and kicked back.
By the way, since you mentioned that, and look, on a serious note, if you have trouble sleeping, the person who has saved my life is Liberal Steve. Because 3 or 4 years ago, Liberal Steve went to a sleep study, and he told me about it here, and I kept waking up and kept thinking to myself, no, I can do it, I can get better. And I was waking up for years not being able to sleep. I would have a fan on, I'd have the windows open, because that's the only way I could breathe at night. And, Liberal Steve has sleep apnea, so do I. And now I sleep a lot better and a lot safer thanks to my CPAP. And a lot of people look at those and they don't like it and they think it's claustrophobic, but you have to be committed to it. It will save your life. And as much as I give Liberal Steve a hard time, I always give him credit for that.
Doesn't it feel nice to wake up like you've actually rested?
As much as I can, yes, you're right.
Anyway, you stay fired up, Miller. I just wanted to get in, and I'm predicting right now that Tommy will be our next governor, and I'm also predicting that this tax bill will not get passed. There's just too much wrong in it. Not so much with the taxes, but with dropping the mandate to Obamacare, leaving 13 million people uninsured, and all that good stuff. And inflation now has taken over.
Liberty Linda, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hello, Liberty Linda.
Yes, good morning, Kevin. You know, this might be a first for me, but I agree with Liberal Steve.
Now, be careful. Hold on.
Our next governor.
Be careful about agreeing with Liberal Steve. He likes to do the swerve a lot.
Well, we hope he won't swerve on this one.
He swerved on President Trump.
Pardon me?
He swerved on President Trump.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
He
did. He was
Mm-hmm.
for Trump in the beginning, and then he swerved.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to, take the steering wheel away from him.
Watch out for Swerving Steve.
Right, yeah, we have a new name for him. Anyway, Kevin, I think that our officials we vote for do not own our roads. You know, they are turning our city into a corporation if they do that. And anyway, they should not be charging us, the people, to park in our own city. Our land belongs to the people, we the people.
Now
I believe on that issue.
You live in Boise?
I do.
Sorry about that.
Okay, well.
Well, no, I mean, don't you get tired of hey, we're going to increase taxes here, we're going to increase taxes there, we're going to buy some more land here. And look, Boise's a wonderful, beautiful place, but on the other hand, you're paying a lot in taxes to live there.
And, it is becoming more beautiful every day. Downtown is just becoming a beautiful city. It's really remarkable, although it's hard to drive around at this time. Every road's blocked off, because they have so much building that they're doing there.
Right.
But it's the people that makes the city, I think. Anyway, regarding Judge Roy Moore, I think he should hold out. And they don't even have all the military vote in yet. So I have a feeling he may still win. And I believe that they may find actually some voter fraud also. So those two things I think are going to happen. And so I just wanted to bring that out. And I say yes to our Christmas party. And can I RSVP now, Kevin?
Well, I haven't cleared it with anybody, but I really never cleared it with anybody. I'm thinking Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Does that work for you?
Tuesday? Any day will work for me.
I think Tuesday.
As long as you're there, that'll work for me.
I think Tuesday we'll do the company Christmas party.
You and Jeff the Suit and Ray.
I don't know if we're going to bring Jeff the Suit.
Oh, okay.
Jeff the Suit would be, doing his Jeff the Suitness and directing us on how to have a Christmas party. I don't know if we're ready for Jeff the Suit.
Oh, okay.
But that's very nice of you to invite Jeff the Suit. I'm sure he appreciated that.
Someone had to do it.
Exactly.
Anyway, Kevin, you're our hero here. And we love you so much. You've got our hearts of the people here in Idaho. Just want to let you know that. We turn to you. And thank you so much for what you do here in our wonderful area. You bring us all together. Thanks for that.
Well, thank you, and we've got a long way to go. We've got major plans for next year to really, really continue to work in spreading the good news about the Treasure Valley. And we need you a part of it.
Let's all work together on that. I agree with you, Kevin.
Maybe we'll go down to City Hall and give the mayor a hug. He looks like a guy that likes
sometimes
hugs.
we do like the people.
Yeah.
We do actually like them personally.
Sure.
We just don't like some of the things that they're trying to do to our cities.
Liberty Linda, thank you. We'll see you Tuesday.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, coming up, more of your phone calls. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Let's go to Hank in Boise. Hank, good morning.
Good morning. What I think on the recount, I think that off the top of my head, and I could be wrong on this, but I think for him to win with the military vote, he would have to get 3/4 of that vote. In other words, he would practically have to run it. I mean, I think Jones's lead is enough that it's possible but not probable. And, I hope for the best that he can get it. But isn't it funny that the Democrat precincts, and no matter what state you're in, no counties, always are the last to report. It's sort of like they're waiting to see what kind of votes they can cough up at the end. It's sort of it always amazes me. They're always the last to report. Whether it's King County in Washington, or whether it's Sonoma in Oregon, or whether it's Broward in Florida. It seems that that's the same pattern over and over across the country, or Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. And as far as Mayor Beter is concerned, he could make an excellent university president. He could stick it to the students with the extra fees, extra pay. I mean, as far as his record as mayor of Boise, I think he should get the Dr. Custer Award for sticking it to his constituents, in terms of extra fees and expenses.
I didn't know there was a Dr. Custer Award.
Well, I think they should create one. Who can come up with charging your constituents, or the people you serve, with the most amount of taxes and fees? Custer was great for raising pollution, great for building this plan of his on the backs of people, and Mayor Beter's of the same ilk. And one more question before I get off the air. One more point off the air. It doesn't surprise me that liberal Steve would tend to support Alquist, because in a sense it's the government by cronyism that basically I'm opposed with Alquist. He's too close to Beter. He's too close to the power structure for me to be comfortable with that man.
Duly noted, Hank. Hopefully we'll see you Tuesday for the Christmas party.
Oh, okay. Where are you having it at?
At the station.
At the station?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's get to traffic and weather. And here we go. Let's go to Terry, formerly of State College, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Kevin. Help me here. I was in and out the front door here when Liberal Steve got on. Who was the candidate that gave away a large amount of money and did not want anybody to know that he had done it?
Tommy Alquist.
Wow. Now, Kevin, that's the sign, and I'm not saying that he is, but that's the sign of a true biblical man. One hand should never know what the other hand is doing, and the Lord tells us very clearly, don't be a Pharisee and stand in the synagogue and talk about everything that you know and everything you did. I mean, the man could have got on the air and said, hey, look at me, everybody, but then he would have lost his reward in heaven. And we can't even begin to fathom what a reward in heaven is going to be. It's going to be beyond our understanding.
Well,
so,
look,
Steve, I commend you.
Here's the deal. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I see Dr. Alquist out. I see him learning. I see him doing things. You were there. I was there when he walked up. Didn't want any acknowledgement at all. Had just been tuned in as a listener. And, we'll let the people decide, but that says a lot right there, in my opinion.
That does a lot. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
So, Liberal Steve, I agree with you. And Liberty Linda agrees with you. You're batting 100 today, buddy.
Hank doesn't agree with him.
Well, okay, so you're only batting 50 again. Yeah. Anyways. Kevin, we're looking forward to the party. You're always a tremendous host.
I'm the grumpy curmudgeon usually. You're the one that has to bring me out of the shell.
That's not hard. I just sit beside Tea Party Bob and we get arguing back and forth, and that gets your blood pressure up and away you go.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
You know, the Big Pharma thanks you, too, for tripling my blood pressure medicine. Yes, thank you.
Oh, come on. Well, hey, before you all know it, you're going to have your blood pressure down. Tea Party Bob's got you on that keto diet, and you're probably doing all proteins, no carbs, and away you go.
I'm not down with the keto. Not down with the keto diet.
Oh, come on. You're going to hit ketosis, and Kevin is going to be zooming, man. He's going to be on that natural, healthy buzz, and nobody will be able to keep up with you.
Yes, well,
Kevin,
I just am not down with a diet that eliminates carbs, but people are successful with it.
Hey, I got a report yesterday that concerns me.
Yes.
And tell me if we're true here.
Sure.
Supposedly a court or the court in Alabama had all of the ballots that had already been cast destroyed, so it will be impossible to do a recount.
I've got a better one from Alabama. Apparently felons voted in it. It was supposed to be just people with misdemeanors, but felons voted. I got to run, Terry, but thank you.
See you Tuesday.
All right. More coming up next. KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you for starting your day with us.